D-Mace, Vingen and Donick here on 102.5 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Happy Friday, Nashville. D-Mace is here.
What's going?
If he can
There
get
we
his
go.
mic. There he
What's
is.
happening? It's my mic is around here somewhere. I was fiddling in my bag and trying to find things. But yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful morning. Afternoon. Goodness gracious.
It all blends together.
I'm everywhere. But it's a wonderful afternoon. Sunshine is about 60-something degrees.
It's beautiful outside.
Man, goodness. A good day to be outside and enjoy the weather with your little ones or with your pets. So get on out. Get some exercise.
Yes, do that. Obviously, Willie Donick and Adam Vingen are not here. I'll get to why they are not here in just a second. But my name's Connor Newt, if you haven't heard me before. I'll be filling in today for Adam Vingen for the reason our good friend Adam Vingen is now a father of two. Adam Vingen had his baby today, his new daughter, Elizabeth Vingen. She was born this morning at 6 pounds, 0 ounces, about 18 inches long. Everything I know, the baby is great. The family's doing great. Little Arlo is now a big brother. So we send all our loves, our prayers, our thoughts, and just good wishes to the Vingens today.
Absolutely. In addition to the household, that's always a great thing. And I'm sure Arlo will be a great big brother.
Oh, yeah.
And life now officially changes once again.
Right.
But typically the second one tends to be a slight bit easier because you know what to do. It's at least while they're little, like while they're still infants.
Right.
You know,
he's got one of each now, too.
Exactly. Absolutely. So he's been through it. So hopefully, they're able to, Adam is able to, do what he's supposed to do.
I'm confident in him.
Yeah, he will.
He's a smart guy.
Absolutely.
He gets into the numbers. I'm imagining he's crunching the parenting numbers as we.
You think Adam has numbers? You think Adam has numbers on like parenting, like analytics on parenting?
I imagine so. I imagine him with a
what
spreadsheet.
Is the probability?
He'll find the numbers. He'll find them.
What is the probability of me if I warm up this milk right now and wait 15 minutes? That
if I give her a pacifier 5 minutes after the meal, what is the probability that she won't throw a fit? I love Adam. I just like to poke fun at him. D-Mace, we'll begin today with a little bit of breaking news that just broke about 10 minutes ago. Vols quarterback Joey Aguilar has been denied another year of eligibility, according to ESPN's Pete Thamel. This was in a court in Knoxville, ironically. It was a bunch of donors, the judges in Knoxville, big supporters of the Tennessee Volunteer Program, denying him an extra year of eligibility. According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, he will declare for the NFL draft. Your initial thoughts on Joey Aguilar's denial?
Listen, he tried and, it didn't happen. I know he would have loved to get that 1 year, but I think at a point, because you're seeing players try to get a year to a year or 2 years, in some cases 3 extra years. And, we talk about this all the time on the show, and it's sort of a disadvantage to the younger group that is coming in that, you have some, guy that's 24, 25, still playing at the collegiate level. And, potentially taking a spot away from that young freshman that's coming in.
Right.
But this is sort of the landscape that college, sports has been on for over, a year or two now, where things that used to be not, prevalent, now you see it, whether it be paying, whether it be athletes transferring, or it's situations like this where they're trying to get, in this case, this would have been his 6th year?
Yes.
He's trying to get an extra 2 years. He got one last year, and then he was trying to get another. So there has to be a point where it's, okay, enough is enough. Let's sort of phase out of that. Let's potentially rewrite some rules and put them in place so you won't have situations like this.
I'm a bit torn on this situation. I'm torn because Do I think he should have been given the extra year of eligibility? No. But here's the thing. It's been done in the past. We just saw it locally last year.
Mhm.
Diego Pavia was given the extra year because of the JUCO stuff. So I think the NCAA just needs to pick a side and stick to it. None of this, well, we're not going to give it to this guy, but we're going to give it to this guy. That's kind of the whole situation with the Trinidad Chambliss thing going on. He was looking for a medical redshirt year for a Division II school, I believe. And I think he should have been given it. And then the NCAA says no. So I'm a bit torn on how this is. But you're right, it is a bit disadvantageous for some of these younger guys because the way college football used to work was, okay, the guy on his last year of eligibility is going to go pro. We've got a freshman that we've redshirted, and he's ready to come in and be the next starter. It's sort of a farm system, for lack of a better term. Now with NIL, you don't necessarily have that. What Tennessee didn't do is go out and get a quarterback, but for other universities, they would, say, all right, we're going to try and pry this guy from LSU to be our starting quarterback. It is interesting to see this is how the landscape of college athletics has changed. And it's across all sports.
Yeah, it's not just, relegated to just football. It's basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, it's other sports within, these universities. It may not impact it. It may not get the notoriety or an impact on the program, but I'm sure you see it across the board in other sports at universities. But obviously, football and basketball are the most prevalent ones.
Right.
So, the minute either you're not playing, or you've played really good, you're looking to move.
Yeah.
And hey, listen, it's a free country, capitalistic country. And these kids are taking advantage of it.
Our country is currently up 2-0 on Slovakia right now. By the way.
Great.
Just in case you
All
were
right.
wondering.
Second period, 19 minutes in.
Yes.
19 minutes ago. I said 19 minutes in. 19 minutes ago. Hopefully they can keep this up. And we will be potentially looking at a U.S. in Canada.
I would
finals
hope so.
For the gold.
I would hope so. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Texter on our text line 8771 says the only way a player should be in college more than 4 years is if he missed a year of playing time due to injury, and that's it.
Well, the college rule is 5 to do 4.
Yes.
You can do that 5th year. A lot of kids, we're talking, the era before this one, they would get redshirted their first year.
Right.
Majority of kids, I don't care if you were a quote unquote 5-star. If they felt you weren't ready, they would redshirt you a year, play you 2 games, 3 at max, and then redshirt you and allow you to develop. And then you go into what many did was leave their junior year because it's really their senior year.
Right.
Or they go for that last year. Well, leave their senior, which is junior, but they go that last year. But you're not seeing that anymore.
Were you shirted as a freshman?
No, I wasn't redshirted.
Okay.
4 years in, 4 years out.
Nice.
Yeah. Now I look back on it and I wish I was redshirted. But back then the big thing was I don't want to be redshirted. I don't want to be redshirted.
Right.
Because it was sort of like if I'm redshirted, it's like a blow to your ego, like I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And guys that were not redshirted, they felt, oh, okay, I was good enough to make the team and get some playing time. So I didn't get redshirted, but looking back on it, maybe that extra year would have helped me.
I would argue red shirts in today's era of college athletics are more important now than they were, because if you redshirt a guy, like you said, let's say he plays 3 games and gets the shirt, that guy can now hit the portal and still be considered a freshman. That adds a lot of value to these bigger schools that are looking for someone to grab, or even a mid-major guy that is looking to go somewhere else. That red shirt adds value. So I'm a big fan of the red shirt just because for that reason, and for the reason that if the guy does stay with your program, you see more of his development.
Exactly. But unfortunately, I mean, if you get a guy to stay at a university, I'm not just talking about just a player. I'm talking if you can get a A1 player, to stay 4 years at your program nowadays, whether it be basketball or football, man,
You won
you're
the
doing
lottery.
something. Yeah, you're doing something, because a lot of them are, looking to move elsewhere, even if they are the man for that team. Somebody else may be willing to pay them more. So they're going to jump ship. So you can have an All-American that's no longer your quarterback the next following year because he decided to, go elsewhere because he's getting more money.
It is free agency.
Yeah, that's
every
all it
single year, and maybe a little bit more wild than free agency in the NFL because you don't have multi-year contracts. Speaking of the NFL, D-Mace, there was some news that broke yesterday, and I know you have some thoughts on this because I do as well. The Chicago Bears are getting approved to move out of Chicago. They're going to move to, maybe not going to, but there are plans for the Chicago Bears to move outside of the state of Illinois, outside the city of Chicago, and go to northern Indiana, which is mind-boggling to me. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, D-Mace, as someone who played years and years and years against the Chicago Bears from Chicago.
It's just, listen, I'm not the biggest Chicago Bear fan. I like Chicago because, you sort of form that hatred, but because we were so close and they were sort of the rival of the Lions.
Right.
So it was always that back and forth. And then Chicago's right up the street. So you had the Pistons versus the Bulls. So that sort of rivalry was there, but it was also the respect, Walter Payton, Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, that whole crew that wrecked shop on the NFL and won the Super Bowl. Even after that, some of the players that they've had. And then, getting that opportunity to, play a little with Walter Payton's son. He was here with the Titans for a bit. So it's all that history that sort of ties you with a team that's not necessarily your team. You're talking about some of the greatest or one of the greatest head coaches ever, in this game. You're talking about some of the greatest players ever to play this game. They played for this franchise and he coached this franchise. So now how can you all of a sudden, it's like, to me, it's like the New York Knicks moving.
I was about to say the Lakers
moving, or the Lakers moving, out of the, to the nearest state, Vegas, Nevada. They're moving to Nevada somewhere. It's like, seriously? Like, what happens to the Los? It's the same way with the Chicago Bears. Like, you're taking a historic franchise. You're taking all of that and you're saying, we're just going to move. We ain't going to even move 2 states over, 3 states over, 1,000 miles away. We're going to move right down the street.
Yeah.
So you can see us every day. And where we can't keep the name, we can't be the Chicago Bears. So what are we?
The Indiana Bears.
Indiana Bears or whatever,
The West Lafayette Bears.
But I'm sure, I hope, because of all the history that, you can't, and I know there have been teams that the teams that moved and got renamed. Obviously, the Titans were one of those teams. We talk about the St. Louis Rams where they move, and there's been teams that moved. The Raiders moved back forth.
Yeah.
And now they're in Vegas. So I understand it happens, but man, the Chicago Bears,
it's pretty mind-boggling.
You can't take that franchise out and put it in another state.
Right. I seriously wonder, and you mentioned this before we got on the air.
Well, they will if they don't get something worked out in Chicago. But it's
not imminent.
Exactly.
They have the bill approved, basically. But I do wonder, you mentioned this before we got on the air because we were talking about it a little bit. I wonder if this is like a Bud Adams situation where the city of Chicago and the Bears franchise don't agree on where the new stadium will be placed or how the cost of the new stadium or something like that. So this is the Bears fail-safe and saying, all right, you don't want to do it. We will go outside of one of the most popular markets in America for sports and go in the middle of nowhere. I wonder if that is the case. I don't know the answer to that, but it is kind of mind-boggling to me that Chicago is would you say top 3 sports market in the country?
Oh, of course.
Probably
Let me see.
Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles, I
Yeah.
think would be the 3, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy to me that an NFL team would be willing to move out of that exposure and out of that market because of, I guess, disagreements with the city. But you know the NFL would put a new team there immediately, right?
They would, but this team, no matter what, they've been in Illinois, no matter from the inception of this team in 1919 and 1920, where they played at the baseball field, the Staley Field or Wrigley Field, and then they got Soldier Field. How can you then take this team with so much history and not just, it's not about moving them, because you can move them within the state.
Yeah, I mean, there are teams
Exactly.
like the Jets and the Giants. Do they play in New York? No, they play in Jersey.
But they've always really been there,
right.
You know. But Chicago's always been Chicago. It hadn't been the Chicago, the Indiana Bears, or the Chicago, whatever you would call them, you know, whatever. It hasn't been. It's been the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, they're synonymous with that city.
Exactly, that city, that color, everything.
Yeah, it is just a mind-boggling story to me, but I don't know. I am interested to see how this shakes out. Do they get a deal? I would imagine that city and the franchise come to agreement, hopefully. But it is kind of interesting to think about the Bears moving to.
You, boy, nowadays it's just hey, wherever the money takes you, that's where you're going.
Yep, it's all money driven.
It's not about loyalty or anything. It's about, oh, you can pay the most money. Okay, we'll move over here. You know, and you'll give us a few benefits. Okay, we'll move our team over here. And I'm sure it's more than just that.
Right.
I'm sure there are a lot of other, variables when it comes to that. But man, if this does happen, man, I wonder what would the NFL, how long would it take the NFL to put a team back in Chicago?
I would imagine 3 to 4 years. I don't.
They would have to. You would have to.
I kind of liken it to the NBA situation. This was before my time, but well, no, not really. I was 3 when Seattle moved to Oklahoma City.
And they still ain't got a team in Seattle.
Right. And I would imagine that's coming soon because they're talking about expansion and they'll probably do Seattle and Vegas, I would imagine. But it is weird thinking about moving from a top market like that to somewhere completely different.
You look at the old Cleveland Browns. When they moved to Baltimore,
right?
They gave them a team. It took some years, but they end up replacing that team.
Houston
with the Cleveland Browns. Houston, they end up replacing that team. So I don't think it's going to take a long time. If indeed, they don't get something worked out with the Bears' current situation, that if they do decide to move, that the NFL wouldn't be, sort of pushing it, expediting this another franchise back in Chicago.
Right. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Coming up next, as always, on Fridays here on DVD, we are joined by OutKick's Chad Withrow. We'll talk about Joey Aguilar's denial. He will not play next year for the Tennessee Vols. Maybe we'll ask him about the Chicago Bears situation as well. But he's coming up next right here on DVD. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you on 102.5 The Game.
Hey, happy Friday. This is Derek Mason. If you injured yourself in a motorcycle accident, go to lawtigers.com for your free case evaluation. Even if your accident was months ago, you have nothing to lose by calling Law Tigers. Insurance companies want to pay out as little as possible, or frankly, nothing at all. But Law Tigers fights to get you the compensation you deserve and doesn't get paid until your case has been settled. They understand how much your bike gear is worth to you and what it means to you. So they will help you get it all repaired or better yet replaced. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is powered by Freeman and Houston. And you can find them in Nashville, located at 2126 21st Ave South. And don't forget to go to predatorsbike.com to enter to win a custom Predators Indian motorcycle. That thing is slick. I saw it at Brewhouse West no, Brewhouse South, excuse me, Brewhouse South the other day, and that thing is ready for someone to sit on it and cruise. It's signed by the entire team, courtesy of Law Tigers in Music City, India. That's Law Tigers, Tennessee's motorcycle lawyers.
D-Mace, Vingen, and Donick here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes with you. Adam Vingen, Willie Donick out today for separate reasons. But as we do every Friday here on the program, we say hello to OutKick's Chad Withrow, as we do, again, every week here on Fridays on the program. Chad, hello. How are you?
Doing well. Are they just taking off to watch U.S. hockey today, or what's going on?
Well, Adam had some
Yeah,
baby or something, so I'm not.
I don't think Adam's doing much watching of hockey.
I gotcha.
Willie, we don't know
baby
about.
girl.
More pressing issues for Adam. Is what you're
Yes,
saying.
he just had a baby girl this morning.
Yes, he did.
Oh, well,
6
congrats!
pounds.
Congrats to him. That's awesome news.
Willie, we don't know about. Willie's probably sitting at home.
Willie's
watching
in Ohio watching Denison playing some baseball.
Oh yeah, see there you go.
Yeah, we all know Willie's sitting in a pub in Ohio watching
for sure.
USA hockey right
For
now,
sure.
and out of his other eye watching some baseball.
100%. So, Chad, the news broke about 30 minutes ago or so that Vols quarterback Joey Aguilar has been denied an extra year of eligibility by the courts in Knoxville. He will allegedly declare for the NFL draft, but I'm interested for your opinion on this. What are your thoughts as the ruling has just come out?
I mean, it's just like everything. It's painfully inconsistent because I've been asking the legal community, if someone can give me the difference between Pavia and Aguilar's arguments legally and how one got the injunction and one didn't, other than two different judges. And one judge had one opinion and one judge had another one. And no one's really been able to give me a good opinion. There was one lawyer who responded and said in the filing that essentially the judge who ruled against Aguilar said, I'm not comfortable setting this precedent with an injunction. So you need to go to court. If you want to see this to the end, you can give a meatier argument in court and it'll play out longer, but then you can get what you want ultimately there. But I'm not going to be the one that sets the precedent for everyone to say JUCO doesn't count. And by the way, I don't disagree with that. I think JUCO should count. There should be some sort of compromise. I'm just having a hard time squaring how Diego Pavia got the extra year and Joey Aguilar didn't, both in the state of Tennessee, one filed in Nashville, one filed in Knoxville. It makes no sense. If you're a Tennessee fan, I understand being disappointed and mad and all of that. But guys, what's good for the sport and what's good for Tennessee or what's good for Vandy are two different things. I think him not getting the injunction is good for the sport, even though it does hurt the Vols. And I also understand the level of frustration from Tennessee people saying, why other schools and not us if other athletes are being granted an injunction to play more years because of JUCO?
I agree with you. I think it's just a sign of inconsistencies of the powers above. But obviously, this leaves Tennessee in a bit of a quarterback predicament, maybe so. It's George McIntyre allegedly being the starter. But do you feel safe about that? Do you feel safe putting in a redshirt freshman to lead a college team in just his first year as a starter?
I don't. But here's the thing about Tennessee and the situation they're in right now. And we did this on our show earlier this week. We went through 1 through 16 ranking coaches in the SEC. Excuse me. And I think that I ranked Josh Heupel 4th out of 16 teams based on what he's done. Here's the deal. If you're the 4th best coach in the SEC and you're at a program like Tennessee and every quarterback you've ever coached has had success, then George McIntyre needs to go have success. He's a 5-star quarterback. He's in his second year in the system. This is what Josh Heupel does. So when everyone else around Knoxville was freaking out about, not getting Sam Levitt or not getting Bo Pribula or Joey Aguilar maybe not getting that extra year of eligibility, Josh Heupel and that Tennessee staff are very quietly optimistic about what they have in that room right now with George McIntyre and Faison Brandon, who's another 5-star quarterback. So in the era of allocating funds to different positions, if you're Tennessee and you're going to pay that much money, and I know how much George McIntyre's making, and it's a lot, and I know how much Faison Brandon's making, it's a lot. You're paying a lot of money to young quarterbacks. They need to go in and produce in a big way. And if you can have confidence in any coach in getting the most out of a quarterback, I think that Josh Heupel's given good reason to show people he's a good developer of quarterbacks, and guys are going to put up big numbers in that position. So while I wouldn't be, Connor, feel that safe about it with a guy that's a redshirt freshman and we don't know much about, knowing they were trying to get Joey Aguilar eligible, I think there's reason for optimism if you're Josh Heupel, because he gets the most out of every quarterback he's had in Knoxville so far. And I don't think George McIntyre should be any different.
Yeah, you're right, Chad. If you just look at what he's been able to do, whether with Hendon Hooker and some of these other quarterbacks that have come along, all the way up to Joey Aguilar now, the system, I think, will produce the numbers. It's about the quarterback being able to run it efficiently and run it in the style that Hendon Hooker ran it in. I think that's what they missed between Hendon Hooker and Aguilar, was somebody running it at that tempo and being able to run so many plays. They couldn't do it with the two guys in between. But do you think this will be the last year? Because Connor and I were talking about this. Do you think this will be the last year of so many guys trying to get that 6th year?
It's a good question. If someone else gets the different answer that Joey Aguilar didn't, I think that people are going to keep trying, because the precedent was set with Pavia. I know there's some other cases that have gone the way of the athlete of getting that extra year, but I do think it'll start to dwindle down starting with this ruling on Joey Aguilar. So I don't know if it's the last year, but it could be the beginning of the end for people going after another year of eligibility. And I'll say this just about the quarterback position and how you pay for quarterbacks in college football right now, because you got to fill out an entire roster. And if you're in the SEC especially, you got to have good offensive line play and good defensive line play. That's going to cost you some money. So how do you pay for the quarterback? Let's say I'm a head coach and D-Mace, you're my offensive coordinator, and I'm a defensive-minded head coach. If I'm going to go to any athletic director or president and interview for a job, here is my quarterback plan. I'm going to them and saying, we're going to pay top dollar for a transfer who's already been developed and already has experience from somewhere else. If I'm at a big program, I'm going to get that one quarterback in a 2-year cycle. We're going to pay top dollar for that quarterback. And every year I'm going to bring in an in-state guy, maybe a 3-star, maybe a 4-star quarterback in my state that is a developmental player. So every year you're bringing in someone that you're not breaking the bank on, so you can save some of that money for other positions. But if you hit with that guy, you could have a 2 or 3 year surprise at quarterback. But outside of that, I'm spending top dollar on a 2-year solution. I don't want to bring in a one-and-done guy at the end of his career. I want to bring in a guy that's a junior or has 2 years of eligibility that you can say, they're my 2-year quarterback. It's a 2-year deal. I'm paying top dollar for this guy who's already done it at a high level. And I'm going to go recruit 3-star quarterbacks out of high school. I just don't know how much sense it makes anymore to do what Tennessee has done right now, and that is pay a lot of money for George McIntyre, pay a lot of money for Faison Brandon, and then almost pay a lot of money for Joey Aguilar, right? That's what they would have had to have done this year. I just think financially it almost becomes irresponsible to allocate your money that way. So I'm curious to see how Tennessee does this moving forward. And if George McIntyre starts this year and he's great, then, I stand corrected. It paid off with what Tennessee has done. But if not, I do think you need to reevaluate how you're spending your money at that position.
Now, speaking of money, you saw what happened with Kansas State coach, him going off on his players. And then you see UCLA coach, ejects his player. And the refs didn't even do it. But then you see Bill Self in Kansas State, where he's trying to hold his tongue because one of his players decided to take himself out. Now you have all these coaches, you have these 3 separate coaches, 2 doing one opposite of the other coach. Where are they in the mix of this NIL stuff where you can have a guy like Darren Peterson take himself out of the game and sort of load manage himself by him, alone without the coach's consent?
Well, first with Mick Cronin at UCLA, dude, if you hate it so bad, retire.
Exactly.
I don't understand how this guy, he's like George Costanza trying to get fired. I think that he wants a buyout from UCLA. I think he hates his life. I think he hates Southern California. I think he hates the trips. He hates being in the Big Ten at UCLA. Now, I know that he was basically forced to come out today and give an apology to the player and say, I should be better. I love the job here. This brand means a lot, yada, yada, yada. He did all of that. But he feels like a guy who's trying to get fired, and I don't understand it because he is miserable at all times. Now, the Jerome Tang thing, are you kidding me? They're going to try to not pay him his buyout because he was honest, and he talked about needing guys to play with pride or they're not going to be back next year. Kansas State's going to pay his buyout in the end. Maybe it's a negotiated buyout where it's a little bit less in the end, but I think they're going to pay a bulk of that buyout because if UCLA wanted to fire Mick Cronin with cause for statements made to reporters in a press conference, they could have done so 10 times over, and they haven't done that. The Peterson thing is fascinating to me because on the one hand, and you're Bill Self, you got a track record of excellence. Mm-hmm. You won a lot of games. You're a national championship winning coach. And you know this, teammates. Chemistry in a locker room and with a team and a coaching staff, it's a delicate thing. Mm-hmm. And it can be disrupted easily. You get one malcontent or one guy who's running his mouth off or one thing happening and somebody's mad, it can disrupt the entire thing. So I think Bill Self is trying to navigate coaching a group of guys who are truly giving it their all and are totally bought into his system and everything going on at Kansas versus, hey, we got this really good talent who's the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, who's a little bit delicate, who doesn't want to play if he's feeling anything at all. So how do I go about doing that without burying the kid completely and also keeping his teammates happy where it doesn't look like I'm playing favorites because we got a pretty tried and true formula here at Kansas with what we've done, and I don't want to disrupt that either. I think that's fascinating. I think Rick Barnes at Tennessee has handled Nate Ament really, really well. And I was one of them. I was loud thinking, this kid doesn't need to be playing as much. early in the year when he was struggling, and now he's one of the best players in the SEC. And he has stepped up and he's grown up and he wants the ball in clutch time. And I think that's the testament to Rick Barnes, making him play within Rick Barnes' system and that kid buying into that system and sticking with it. Almost being stubborn about it and saying, no, he's going to figure it out. He's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And eventually Rick Barnes was right. I think Bill Self is sort of at that point right now of how do I handle Peterson moving forward while also making sure I'm looking out for the best interest of my guys.
Well, he understands that if he goes Kansas State, then he risks the future
The next guy.
the next guy coming in and saying, well, I don't want to deal with that. I go somewhere else. But is this a system that frankly can't be fixed?
It's no. I mean, it depends on what your definition of fixed is, right?
Mhm.
Like you can
Where
find the right
things like
coaches that
this
know how to navigate.
will not happen again. Where these issues between coach and player because of NIL and players, because players right now have the power. They do. And if you're not placating toward them or to them, then they can do a Darren Peterson and say, hey, listen, I give you 100% when I'm on the court, but if I feel anything, I'm sitting down.
Yeah, I think it's all about if you're going to pay the big money for that one and done guy that's a freshman, you better make sure they're made of the right stuff. I look at Darius Acuff Jr. at Arkansas and think, my goodness, that guy is incredible. Fleming
He's a baller.
at Houston. I mean, those guys aren't stepping out of a game late in the game, right? Like they're in it. They're in it to win it. They're made of the right stuff. Nate Amen, I would say that too. He's a lot more quiet, but he's a guy who wants to be in the game in the big. After 1 year, you better do your due diligence and research and make sure they're made of the right stuff. Now, you could do all of that and still be fooled by someone for the same reason you're saying. Because once they get paid, what is their incentive? If they know they're going to be the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft, right? Their incentive is to not get hurt at that point. So you gotta find the guy that needs the game. This is not just a want or I'll play because I'm really good. This is I need basketball to breathe. And I need the competitive situation to feel alive. You'll pay those guys top dollar and you bring them in a one and done situation. If not, I think you're seeing a lot of other programs that aren't in the market for those guys saying, you know what, I'll go get the guy that's played for 3 or 4 years that's already pretty much a professional in how he plays college basketball and bring him in and know that he's going to fit in with my system. I think what Vandy's done is a good example of that. They're bringing in the right type of guys that are veterans that fit in with that Mark Byington system. So there's a number of ways to get the job done. But I just think in the case of Bill Self, Peterson, some of these other fabulous freshmen that we've seen, it's all about making sure the players made the right stuff, because if not, you're going to get tricked and you're going to spend a lot of money for not a lot of results.
Chad Withrow has been our guest here on DVD, our good friend from OutKick. Chad, appreciate the time. Go USA.
USA. That's all weekend and right now. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate Chad for his time. An update on the United States. They are currently up 4-0 over Slovakia. Goals by Jack Hughes and Jake Gensel to double the score with about 3 remaining in the second period. So looks like we're going for gold, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of time left. But
now, when is the game? Sunday? It would be Sunday?
It would be Sunday at 7 a.m. So
Central.
Ooh, so go to bed early.
Or stay up.
One of those two. Put your jammies on, be in bed by 8. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you on DVD. Coming up next, there is an interesting list put out on SI on the top 100 player rankings in the NFL draft. I'm wondering D-Mace's thoughts on how some of these players would fit in with the two-tone blue. Can we still call them the two-tone blue? Are they no longer that?
Some colors are revealed, I'm going to call them the two-tone
I am repping
blue.
two-tone blue today, so I will continue to call them two-tone blue until I'm told otherwise. But we'll do that coming up next right here on DVD on 102.5 The Game. D-Mace, Vingendonic here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes in with you today. An update on the score of Team USA in the Olympic hockey semifinals. It is now 5-0. I think it's safe to say the boys want Canada, and they're going to be playing for gold.
Yeah. You want some of this? You want some of this?
You like that? It's like Kirk Cousins. They need to get him to do like a pregame speech in the locker room or
That'd
something.
be awesome.
I'd love that. Let's talk about a little bit of NFL draft. It's never too early to talk about that, except when it is, but it is currently not. So you sent me today a list on SI made by Justin Mello of the top 100 draft prospects in this upcoming NFL draft. And I thought it was an interesting list here, simply summed up by this. Number 1 is Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State, which I tend to agree with. I think Caleb Downs is probably the best player in this draft. He's just going to fall simply because of positional value. Number 2 is your boy, D-Mace, Jeremiah
Yes.
Love, the running back out of Notre Dame. Number 3, Arvell Reese. Number 4, Fernando Mendoza. And number 5, Ruben Bain. David Bailey, another guy tied to the Tennessee Titans at number 7. So it was brought up today on NFL Live with Field Yates, and they were asking about, overall talent of edge rushers and how that would fit certain NFL team schemes. And I kind of relate this to the Titans because I'm curious if it is absolutely necessary for them to go defensively or not. So Field Yates had to compare Arvell Reese and David Bailey. Here's what he had to say. I think that's interesting because you're kind of pointing out the differences between the two players, although they play essentially the same position. Arvell Reese not having a sack in 6 games, I think, is concerning to me. David Bailey, on the other hand, with the production that he had on the defense that he had, is not concerning to me. I think that's actually interesting. So I say all this to say, judging by this list and judging by what you just heard, is it absolutely necessary for the Tennessee Titans to pick a defensive player at number 4 in this upcoming draft?
I mean, I guess it depends on, who you're asking. Because, I think what we're consistently hearing and what everybody believes is that the Titans will draft a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking around at the NFL, and more importantly, you're looking at the last 2 teams that won the Super Bowl, a lot of it was put on the shoulders of their defense, and they stood tall. They were able to get to the quarterback. They would harass, the quarterbacks they were playing. So one would tend to think, okay, because that's sort of the new thing now, which it really isn't a new thing, but we got to have a defense in order to get to the Super Bowl, which means we got to have a rush in to get to the passer. And I understand that point because these offenses are so prolific and these quarterbacks are becoming better and better that if you give them, enough time to sit in the pocket, they're going to pick you apart. It's been proven year in and year out that if you can't produce a pass rush, either with your front 4 or through blitz, then you're going to have a hard time beating the team.
Yeah.
So everybody looks to, the Titans, they need someone opposite Jeffrey Simmons to help out Jeffrey Simmons, and they do need one. They do need someone. But for me, it's whether it's a defensive player or not. I need someone I would like someone that comes in and immediately have an impact.
Yeah.
They haven't had that in a while where a rookie comes in and have a immediate impact.
Right.
Cam did well the second half of the season. I get that. DK, he did his thing, but I think probably one of the last guys we had was AJ.
Yeah.
That came in his rookie year, improved like I'm the dude. And you saw it year after year after that. So whoever they choose to get or whatever position they choose to go with, more than likely it will be a defensive player, a defensive end, or potentially a wideout. Then it has to help the team immediately. And a lot of people believe that you will get that immediate success if you draft a rush in. I think you will get that immediate success if you draft Jeremiah Love. I think you will get that immediate success if you draft Carnell Tate.
I love Carnell Tate.
With the 4th pick, because it's not just about that individual person. It's about the impact that he has on your quarterback too. And I know, sacks does help your quarterback because a lot of times it gives you good field position, or you tend to get the ball a little bit more because you are putting pressure on the quarterback and they tend to go 3 and out. I get that part. But if he doesn't have anybody to throw it to, you can give him 10 straight 3 and out.
Yeah.
If you don't have anybody that can create plays on the offensive side of the ball, you're just going to be a team trying to beat somebody 13 to 12, or 14 to 13, or 3 or 6 to 3, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that you pair him up with a good offensive player. Not taking anything. If they drafted Bain or Reese, or Bailey isn't the 2nd pick and he somehow slips down to the Titans, then okay, get him. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, when you look at all these quarterbacks, these elite quarterbacks, majority of them have that guy that they can throw the ball to.
Yeah. I'm kind of likening this to the situation of the franchise when you were there in 98. Mm-hmm. How did they take it to the next level in the NFL draft? They drafted a guy by the name of the Freak.
Yes.
Javon Curse. I don't think that without the impact that he provided you guys on defense, you would have made it to the Super Bowl. Maybe we're playing revisionist history here, and I wasn't around for this. But in the research I've done and the critical thinking I've done on this, I think that he provided an impact to that defense that had never been seen before for this franchise. So the best way to replicate that is by taking an edge at number 4. But I can also see the other side. You have a young quarterback who's on his rookie deal. Why not capitalize on that by getting him a running back? Or Carnell Tate, who could easily become a wide receiver 1 here. There are pros and cons to both sides. I think the safer option is, as you now have a defensive-minded coach, probably taking a defensive end and just bolstering up your front line. I think that's the safe option. But if you want to take a chance, it's been proven time and time again that taking a wide receiver for your young quarterback can work out for you. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They needed offensive line help bad in that draft. Penei Sewell was sitting right there. But they said, you know what? We've got Joe Burrow on a rookie deal. We're going to take his former teammate, Jamar Chase. And what happened? They went to a Super Bowl. So I think there are pros and cons to each level of this, but I don't know. It depends on who you ask on what they would do.
Listen, if you look back, because that Titans team is different from this Titan team. That Titan team did a good job at developing their young guys. They had some guys that were starting to segue into, that prime of their career that was just on the cusp. I'm talking about Steve and Eddie.
Right.
Frank was there. So,
and you guys were in a lot better situation than we are now.
Better situation then. And Javon was that. It was like that spark plug. Like,
right.
We get him. That is the last missing piece on the defense that is good, and he sort of puts you in a position now where those things you want to do in the back end, you can do them more, because now you have a guy, once he proved himself, now you have a guy that they're going to have to command a double team on. Now it frees up a lot of these, it frees up some of these other guys, whether it be blitz or some of these other guys across the defensive line. So Javon was that last piece that we need to not just make it to the Super Bowl, but to have seasons that we had subsequently after that. He was a big piece of that. But the team was already, they were sort of simmering, and they needed that guy, and we got him, and off we went. This team right now is in a different position, and I'm not saying that drafting a Reese or a Bailey or a Bang will not make this team better, but it's not going to put this team over the hump. If you believe in what Coach Saleh preaches, and everything, then he doesn't need a 15 sack guy. He just doesn't need that guy. He would love to have that guy, but he doesn't need a guy that's going to get you 20 sacks.
Right.
He needs guys that are relentless, guys that are going to work within the system, and the team will get the sacks. It's not just one individual. He did that with the Jets early, and he did that with San Francisco before he left and when he came back.
Right.
So I'm looking at Saleh and I'm saying, okay, I really don't need a premier pass rusher. If I can get a guy in the second round, or even trade from the fourth, move down, get an extra pick here, I draft a wide receiver, and then I draft a defensive guy. I got to believe that my coach, who's a defensive-minded coach who has done really good at other stops, he's going to get this defense where it needs to be, with or without a elite pass rusher. Well, he has one in Jeffrey Simmons, meaning an elite an interior guy, but he doesn't need a Miles Garrett on the edge for his defense to be really good. He would love that, but he doesn't need it.
Right.
That's why I say you help your young quarterback immediately. What did Cincinnati do? They helped their young quarterback immediately. What did Houston do? They helped their young quarterback immediately. You got to get these guys some pass catchers, guys that are going to make defenses shift. And we haven't had that guy since A.J. Brown.
I agree with you. Like I said, I think there are pros and cons to each side. But coming up next, we'll discuss the options in free agency. If the Titans aren't going to draft one of these positions, is there a guy available that can fill that void? We'll talk about that in hour number 2 here on DVD. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you on 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2 of D. Mace, Vingen, and Donick here on 102.5. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Willie Donick, Adam Vingen, both out today with parental-related issues. One just had a baby. The other one's watching his, I guess, former baby play baseball in Denison, Ohio. So they are excused for today. So Connor Newt, Derek Mason in with you today. We're talking Titans right now, and kind of to continue the conversation we had last segment, would it be better for the Titans to draft an edge rusher and find a wide receiver in free agency, or vice versa, or whatever position you would consider? 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So D-Mace, let's say that the Titans decide they want to draft defensively at number 4 overall, whether that be Bailey or Bain or Arvell Reese, what have you. Who are guys out there in your mind that you think are capable of supplementing Cam Ward and helping him to develop as a quarterback in that wide receiver position?
As a, you talking about free agency?
Yes, free agency. I probably should preface that.
No, I mean, listen, I think first we got to, see what they're going to do with Calvin Ridley, because, Dabo was asked about Calvin Ridley, and he said he enjoyed coaching Calvin Ridley and at Alabama, and Calvin Ridley has been a productive receiver in this league. So we need to start there. If they're going to keep Calvin Ridley, are they keeping him as their bona fide number 1, or are they looking to upgrade that position via free agency? And, the name that has been on the list is Alec Pierce. A guy that is a deep threat. Is he a volume catcher? No, he hasn't been with the Indianapolis coach. Frankly, he's been, at least last season, and we talked about this yesterday, that he was the fourth most targeted player on their team. So you go from the fourth most targeted to now being thrust into the number 1 role. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be able to handle that, but if you're going to pay him the money that he's going to want, then he needs to be a bona fide. He needs to be an upgrade to Calvin Ridley.
Right.
He does. And I'm not sure how much of an upgrade outside of Calvin Ridley's availability. That's been his problem. Now, he's had the dropsies, but when he's had the dropsies early, he's always come back and had a strong, follow-up to that each of the last couple of seasons. But if you're not bringing in someone that's noticeably better than Calvin Ridley, what are you doing it for?
I agree.
You might as well keep Calvin Ridley and, go draft your number 1.
Right.
Or draft a guy that you could hope eventually can be your number 1, because if you're going to pay a guy that much money and you're still paying Calvin Ridley and he's really truly not your number 1, then why do it? I don't think Alec Pierce, as good of a deep threat as he has been for the Indianapolis coach, I don't know how well he will function as the number 1 receiver.
I agree with you. I don't think there is truly an elite wide receiver 1 out there. I don't think there will ever be, because those guys don't hit the market. I think the Titans should look to keep Calvin Ridley, because I think I like the veteran presence that he allows in that wide receiver locker room. Like you said, I think his case of the dropsies can be fixed. I think he's a good mental guy to have. I think he's a good leader, and I think the relationship with him and Cam Ward is a good one. That said, if the Titans are going to draft a defensive player at number 4, there are 3 wide receivers out there that I like as fits. Christian Kirk from the Houston Texans, and then the other 2 are slot guys, perhaps. Juwan Jennings, of course, and Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants. I think all 3 of those guys can provide some volume to the offense at their own level. Wan'Dale Robinson is your typical slot guy. He's short, but he's fast. He can run routes. He always manages to find the ball. I like the idea of having him as a guy for Cam Ward. Juwan Jennings and Christian Kirk are both a little bit bigger wide receivers.
Mhm.
Juwan Jennings is very physical with the ball, but I like the idea of having that because I think that would complement Calvin Ridley well if you're going to keep him. Calvin Ridley, of course, is your shifty route runner, and then you have the physical, just go grab the ball, basically a tight end, but not actually. And then Christian Kirk, I think, has proven that he is capable of revitalizing himself. You saw what he did in the playoffs with a struggling CJ Stroud. He was his number one receiver. So I like all three of those guys for separate reasons. But if the Titans want a number one wide receiver this year, I think you're going to find that in the draft. And if you were to ask me, I like Carnell Tate.
Yeah, I don't think any of these guys that you have named are bona fide number one guys.
Right.
All these guys are, even with Alec Pierce, these guys are twos and that can serve in the one role if you need them to for a few games, but they're not every day or every game number one guys. Now, Wandale, the kid out of New York, I think he would fit, and we talked about this earlier. I think he would fit in the offense because how they use the slot. But then,
and obviously has connections to your offensive coordinator.
He knows the offense. So that's a guy that can, come in and just sort of blend in and not miss a beat, at least with your offense. But then what does that do with DK?
Right.
What does that do with Alec? And I understand the best player is going to play. But if you want to try to see what these young men get, and I understand bring the competition in, but if you want to see what these young guys are made of, and if they're developing, give them a chance to develop and go out and get a number one, period. Don't just go get someone that's a quasi number one, but really is a 2 and a 3. Because that's what those guys are developing into, 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
So you need to get someone that is your number one, and we'll work from there. And the guys that you spoke of, the guys that are out there, because Pickens is out there, but they're going to franchise tag. Dallas is going to want something for him. Even if they can't get a deal worked out, they're going to want a haul for Pickens because he's a damn good receiver. But outside of Pickens, there's no other guy, at least that are free agents.
Tyreek Hill is out there, but I wouldn't entertain the idea.
Yeah, the injuries, I think, I wouldn't. The best of Tyreek Hill we've seen. Now, I know he's trying to come back this year, but it seems like he has had a little setback. But you're talking about a guy you're bringing in that may not play for you, or may not be an impact at all, but he may not even play for you until the middle of the season.
Right.
So and
he's going to cost you a lot.
Exactly. He's going to cost you money. And it's for a year for a team that's not, I could see if you were right on that cusp of winning a championship, then okay, you may take a flyer with them for half a year, sort of like a mercenary, come in, do your thing, we win a Super Bowl, move on. But that's not where you're at.
I could totally see him going back to Kansas City.
I can see that too. Them allowing him to rehab,
right.
And we just need you for the playoffs.
Right.
You be available for the playoffs. We got the quarterback. We got everything else. You be available for the playoffs. Then you give us that dimension that we have missed, since you've left, a consistent deep ball threat.
Yeah.
But him, no. Mike Evans, I know people talked about Mike Evans.
I don't think
you would have gave me the Mike Evans last year. Absolutely. Or 2 years ago, whenever he signed that new deal, I was pushing. You go get a Mike Evans. But I think now with the injuries, and he's getting older, he's not a guy that you bring in to be your number one.
I can't see him leaving Tampa.
I can't see him leaving Tampa either. He's one of those guys that, he has meant so much to that franchise. They're going to allow him to retire there.
Yeah. They'll pay him whatever he wants. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's get to some of your thoughts on if the Titans decide to draft an edge. Is there a wide receiver out there you think is capable of helping out Cam Ward? AB on the text line says, I like the Dobbs kid. He has the capability of being a good wide receiver. At Green Bay, they had plenty of wide receivers, and they spread the ball around, but look what he did in the red zone. He is, of course, referring to Romeo Dobbs in Green Bay. That's another slot guy to me.
Mhm.
I think I would lump him in the category of the guys I mentioned with Jawan Jennings and Wandale Robinson. He's a good receiver. He's one of those that goes and finds the ball. But I don't know in terms of looking for a number one wide receiver. I don't know if he fits that mold.
No, Romeo Dobbs, he's not your number one receiver. He's not. He's a good receiver.
Yeah, he's great.
But he's not your number one receiver. I don't think he didn't really, present himself as Green Bay's number one receiver. It was almost like receiver by committee.
It was.
All y'all guys are good. We just gonna work with all y'all.
They had like 3 or 4 options, like Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. There was another one in there too. But you're right, receiver by committee. So.
And he has, he's developed into a pretty good receiver throughout his career. This last year was his career highs across the board. Well, with touchdowns, it wasn't. It was 2. He had 8 and 23. So that was his career high. But each year he's gotten better. He's developed into a really good, he's a guy that you put him in the middle, you can move him around. He's a more polished Chim DK.
Yeah,
I think he is.
That's a great comparison.
A more polished Chim DK. I don't know how much, returning he did or does, or if he did any. But to me, that's what you want to get out of DK eventually.
Yeah.
The special teams and him, getting you 700-800 yards per season because he's your number 2, 3, or just your number 3.
Would you want to put a more polished Chim DK above Chim DK on a depth chart? I don't think that is
it's
really
just,
a solution.
I don't. And again, I think the kid can play.
Yeah, I just don't think he would fit.
But they're going to, hopefully they spin in a way that's going to sort of fortify this team, sort of slowly strengthen this team. And it may not be, a marquee player that they sign in free agency, but guys that can help sort of stable, the ship and so we can get right back on, so we can get on the right path.
Yeah.
They need guys like that. But eventually they're going to need that one guy on offense, whether it's a running back, Jeremiah Love, or it's a receiver. I'm talking about in the draft, or a receiver, Carnell Tate. They're eventually going to need that guy. Because I think they're developing a solid base with Chim DK, with Alec Almanor, with Gunnar Helm, with Tajay Spears.
They've got a core.
Exactly. They're building this, and then but they need a guy.
Right. This is an interesting text here, and I'm curious of your thoughts. Ryan on our text line says, trade with the Bears for DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore, I think, does fit that mold of number one guy. The question is, do you want to give up draft capital right now to go get a guy maybe on the decline of his career? He would be a good weapon for Cam Ward to have, but do you want to give up draft capital? And I know what ownership in the front office of the Titans wants to do and have as many number one or top 100 picks in the next few drafts as they possibly can. You'd probably have to give some of that up to go get DJ Moore. Is that something that you think would be an option if you're the Titans?
Nope.
I agree with you.
I just don't think, again, you're not getting his best days, I believe, are behind him. Not to say he's not a good player still, but his best days are behind him. Now, again, if you had your number one and you were like, man, we need a 2, or man, go get DJ Moore.
Yeah.
He will fit. He will slide into that space perfectly.
Which is why it made sense for the Bears a couple of years ago.
Exactly. It made sense for them.
I mean, they were trying to develop Justin Fields at the time, but they said, we need a number one wide receiver, and DJ Moore was entering the prime of his career. Now I think Chicago has a core of receivers with now I'm blanking on their names. This is great.
Rome
Odunze, and of course Luther Burden from Missouri. I think they've got their 1 and their 2. So it doesn't necessarily make sense for them to have DJ Moore. But
then they got a damn good tight end. So
they've got 2, Cole Kmet and Loveland. Yeah.
Michigan product.
They got a good. That's going to be a fun team for the years to come. When they play in Northern Indiana, it's going to be great. Can't wait.
Yeah, but they're looking as they want Roman Dunze to be their number one, bona fide number one.
Right.
And they want him to grow with their young quarterback. And DJ Moore, albeit he's a good receiver, I think they would rather have Luther Burden another year developed than to, rely on DJ Moore. Because he's sort of, like I said, he could still play. If Chicago chooses to keep him, they have one of the best group of receivers in the National Football League with those three guys.
With an offensive-minded coach.
Exactly. But, would he fall down to the number 3 next year?
Yeah. That is interesting.
So
I don't know if they'll keep him, though. But I don't think they're going to buy him out. I think they
No,
want
if I'm the Titans,
else.
I wouldn't know. If
No,
you release him and we could find some way to sign him after that, possibly, but I'm not giving him no draft picks for him.
I wouldn't trade any draft capital.
It's not like he's coming off a consecutive 1,000-yard receiving and he looks really good. No, he hasn't. I don't think he hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiving in 3-4 years, 3 years, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Meaning DJ Moore.
There is a former Titan receiver out there, Nick Westbrook-Akine, the old Honda Accord.
It's been 2 seasons since he had his last 1,000-yard receiving. And that was his first year with Chicago.
Right, where he was probably the only option there.
Yeah.
Him and Cole Kmet at the tight end spot. But, yeah, it was probably him and Darnell Mooney.
Yeah. But you said that what's his name? The receiver. I want
NWI.
Yeah, NWI. I don't know why I forgot that.
The old Honda Accord.
Yeah. No, you can't bring him back.
No,
man. You can't.
No. It's the same thing with on a lesser level with Derrick Henry. Everyone is like, well, if he's, if it doesn't work out with the Ravens, go and trade for him. It's done. He didn't want to be here. That's why he left. I don't think he would want to come back. And quite honestly, I don't think he would bolster your offense that much. He worked with Will Levis because he was quite literally the only option out there. DeAndre Hopkins couldn't stay healthy. Calvin Ridley couldn't stay healthy. So Nick Westbrook-Akine, credit to him, produced when it mattered.
Listen, I wouldn't bet against Derrick Henry. I just wouldn't.
Really?
I would not bet. That's one guy that I've seen over the years that, especially at that position, it seems like he's gotten better.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like each year, it seems that even though he may not rush for 2,000, it just seems like he does something to become a better player. So I'm sure the Titans may not do that. And Baltimore, I'm not sure. If they release him, then what are you doing?
Right.
But if the Titans, if he did get released, there will be other teams lobbying to bring him on their to their team.
Yeah.
But say if he was to get released, I wouldn't frown at them bringing Derrick Henry back and him being the number one running back, because
there'd be a parade down Broadway. Are you kidding?
Again, I think this guy, he will have I predict this right now, David. I predict it right now. Derrick Henry will have 1,400 yards next season.
Wow.
For the Ravens?
For the Ravens. If he plays, whoever he plays for.
Whoever he plays for? Okay.
Yes, whoever he plays for, he will have 1,400 yards.
Write that down, folks. At approximately 4:20 p.m. on February 20th, 2026, former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason proclaimed that Derrick Henry will have 1,400 yards.
This guy's he's unbelievable, man. I've seen a lot of good running backs in my days.
It's like every time someone says he's washed, he says, all right, watch this.
And then he just does something else.
Right. It's
like
absurd. His
stiff arm may not be as stiffy, but it still gets the job done.
I wouldn't want to.
And that speed you still have a hard time bringing that big fella down. So, and the thing about him is he hasn't had a major injury.
Right. Other than that foot injury here.
Exactly. And he got over it. The thing with backs like that, big backs, physical backs, you can't have any injuries. That's what sort of derailed Eddie George, was the injury, the toe injury that he had. Had he not had that injury, man, no telling what he could have continued to do. Being that physically imposing,
right,
and running the way he did. If he didn't have that injury, how much better or how longer his career could have been.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you have thoughts on that. I want to flip this conversation around. We talked about, well, if the Titans draft an edge, what do they do at receiver? Let's say they decide we need to get a guy for Cam Ward. We're going to take Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon or someone like that, a wide receiver that we know is going to help our number one overall quarterback. Are there options out there at edge that the Titans can look to draft? We'll discuss that coming up next. Obviously, later today. Today is Friday. We're going to play Take It to the Bank with F&M Bank. Rotate. I probably shouldn't read that part. F&M Bank. Banking made easy on purpose. We'll do that at the end of the program. But coming up next, we'll talk more Titans and get to your thoughts on the phones. This is Connor Newt, Derek Mason, and David Janes here with you on DVD on 102.5 The Game. D Mace, Vingen, and Donick here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you. Adam Vingen, Willie Donick out. Again, congratulations to the Vingens as they welcome their baby girl to the world today. So I am in today for Adam Vingen, Derek Mason alongside me, and we are talking Titans free agency / draft. We just talked about, let's say the Titans decide they need a defensive piece. Who is out there on the free market in terms of the wide receiver to help Cam Ward? Let's flip this around, D-Mace. Let's say the Titans look at number 4 and they say, we love Carnell Tate, or we love Mekhi Lemon, or we love one of these wide receivers that we think is capable of unlocking a new level of Cam Ward. They would obviously have to go to the free market to address edge rusher. And I thank a texter on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Ricky sent me a list from SI on the top available edges. I'll read some of them for you. Trey Hendrickson, of course, is out there for the Bengals. Jalen Phillips from the Eagles. Khalil Mack, a name I'm very familiar with because his brother plays basketball for Kentucky. Odafe Otega, of course, playing for Kentucky. Bradley Chubb, released by the Dolphins. Let's see here. Cam Jordan from the Saints. Boye Mafe, who just won a Super Bowl, and Joey Bosa. Do any of those names, I'm sure they stick out to you, but do any of those names make sense if the Titans decide to spend money at the edge rusher position?
You're talking about guys in their 30s, right?
Yeah, they're all pretty much veterans.
Yeah, they're all veteran guys. And history tells us that, paying a 30-something edge rusher may not be, paying him top money may not be the best thing. CBS Sports did an article. I forget who did that article. Douglas Clawson from CBS Sports, and he did an article on NFL free agency playbook, 10 rules to follow, including bargain quarterbacks, paying running backs, and avoiding the wall with receivers. But he had a section in here, and it's rule number 8. Don't pay aging pass rushers. And here's one of the reasons is that before the age of 30, they averaged 12 point sacks, in that season, let's say age 39.
Yeah.
But then when you get in your 30s, it go from 12.7 to 7.4. Now, he was talking about guys in the past, whether it was Von Miller or DeMarcus Ware, guys like that were big sack guys with their former team. But when they changed teams and they got older, those sack numbers were cut in half, basically, almost. So, again, are you going to pay Trey Hendrickson, who only played 7 games? And I know some of it was because was he holdout? Was he injured?
Some of it was with his contract, I think. I think he reported really, really late to training camp.
But and still, he played 7 games. Now, again,
and
how much are you going to invest in a guy like that? Or say if you want to go get a Max Crosby, you're going to have to pay to go get a Max Crosby.
Yeah, you're going to have to give up capital for him.
You're going to have to pay. And that's a guy that, is playing at a high level right now. But you would have to give up assets to go get a guy like Max Crosby. But these other guys, I think, bringing them in, yes. Having a Trey Hendrickson on your team, yes. But having him at that top dollar, no.
Right.
Because, again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Look at Coach Saleh's track record. He's been able to have really good defense without that guy as rusher.
Yeah.
So I don't need to pay a Hendrickson or these other guys top dollar. If I can get you for less, then I'll bring you in. But if I got to break the bank to bring you in, no, I'm not doing it.
Right.
Because history tells me that I'm not going to get my bang for my buck.
And plus, it just doesn't make sense for the timeline, I think.
No, because you're talking about guys, 2-3 years, maybe 2 years,
right? Maybe
3,
like this,
but really 2, and maybe 1 at a level that would almost warrant the contract.
if we're
or the
talking
first
about
year.
if we're talking about a team that is a piece or two away from Super Bowl contention, then absolutely.
Mhm.
But we're not. We're talking about a young core that needs, pieces that they can develop. I do like Odafe Owe, though. I'm looking at his stats right
Mhm.
now. He's got 30.5 sacks through 5 years of the NFL. That's a guy that I've watched, and David probably knows about him pretty well, as he played 4 of his 5 years with Baltimore. He's from the Chargers, and he's a unrestricted free agent. That's a guy that just, similar to Reuben Bain, just
Mhm.
gets to the quarterback. He plays hardball, and he's fun to watch. I don't think, similar to the wide receiver situation we were talking about,
Mhm.
if you bring him in, he is immediately the number one guy on your defense. But I think it would kind of make sense because you know who your number one overall guy on defense is, and that's Jeffrey Simmons. So having someone alongside him that I think can bolster his production and bolster the production of the whole front line in general, I think makes sense. And he's not a spring chicken. He's 27, but still, that's moderately young for an NFL player. It's not like he's Trey Hendrickson and 32 years old. So,
But again, you're banking on a guy that his best season was in 24 when he had 10 sacks.
right.
And then the very next season, he only played 5 games.
Mhm.
And then he plays 12 with the Chargers. So
Well, he
you're-
got traded.
Well, yeah, he got traded
Yeah.
from Baltimore.
He played all
so he played all
17.
17
Yeah.
games, yeah. But he ended up with 7.5 sacks. Now you could say, well, him getting traded to another team, maybe that sort of threw him off a little bit. But if I'm paying big money, I want more than 7.5 sacks.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Right.
I need more. If I'm paying you like a top rush in, then 7.5 sacks ain't gonna get it. I can get that hopefully from Femi.
Mm-hmm.
If I develop Femi right in this defense, hopefully I can get that from Femi. I should be able to get that from Femi. But I ain't paying Femi, $20-some million, however much
Right.
you would have to pay him. I'm not paying him that.
This was the whole conversation with, should you pay Jeffrey Simmons?
Mm-hmm.
Is that money worth what did he put up? 8 sacks is his career high or something like that? Obviously that paid off for him.
Yeah. But you knew Jeffrey.
You
He
knew
was in the system. You knew what type of player he
Mhm.
was. And you knew once he got the money, he was just going to get better. And
Right.
he did.
Mhm.
He was the only thing at one point the defense had going for itself. But again, if you want to bring him on to be a part, bring him on to be a part, then yes. But if you're bringing him on to be your A1 rusher,
right.
and you're talking about, I need 15 sacks, I'm not sure he's going to be your guy at that price.
Right. The question for me here is, do I really want to break the bank over a guy that can probably give me the same production as drafting a young guy? Like if I draft Reuben Bain,
Mhm.
am I going to get the same production as if I go out and I pay Owe or I pay Trey Hendrickson?
Mhm.
I don't know the answer to that. But the upside is if you do draft a guy on the defensive end, he has upside. You can develop that. And fortunately, you have a defensive-minded coach and a defensive coordinator that crafted one of the best defenses in NFL history on your side. So I don't know the answer to this question, to pay or not to pay, I guess we could say. But ultimately, it's about, what do you want the future of your franchise to look? If you feel that the window for your defense is right now, and you think you have a good unit as is, I would disagree with that, but I think they got to get corners as well. But, if you feel that your front line is good as is, then go draft a wide receiver or go draft Jeremiah Love. I'm okay with that. But I'm just speaking from an analytical standpoint. I feel it's safer to draft a guy that you can get production out of as his career goes on than paying someone big money for 1 to 2 years of production.
Well, eventually you're going to have to find two things, and they're the things that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find you a receiver that can grow with your quarterback. And you're
Right.
going to have to find you an edge rusher that can grow with your team.
They're both pressing
Yes,
issues right now.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of the guys that you have available right now. Which ones do you feel fit your system the best?
Mhm.
And, if they draft an edge rusher, then I would say, go find someone out in free agency. He's not going to be your number one, but
No.
go find him. And then maybe you can win the Jeremiah Smith sweepstakes
for next year. If you're picking that high next year, we got some problems.
That's a problem in itself.
Man, I would love Jeremiah Smith, but if you're picking that high, man, goodness gracious.
I mean, I want the Titans picking number 32 next year, but we
Absolutely.
all have unrealistic expectations. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. Coming up next, D-Mace and I will wrap up our little free agency chat here. Who are two guys, we'll go one on offense, one on defense, that you think are essential for the Titans to bring in for free agency? We'll discuss that coming up next, right here on DVD. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you on 102.5 The Game. D-Mace, Vingen, and Donick here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you on this beautiful, just beautiful Friday evening. The weather feels like spring. A little bit of news to give you. The United States is officially advancing to the gold medal game to take on Canada on Sunday. They will play at 7:10 a.m. So get up early. And according to Mike Tirico, I did not know this, Sunday will be the anniversary of the Miracle on Ice game from 1983.
Do you believe in miracles?
I believe in miracles, and I believe that Sunday will be one of those. And I think we'll pick some of that.
You know, there might be a little chance we might pick
coming up at the end of the show here on DVD for some Take It to the Bank. But D-Mace,
Yes.
to wrap things up here on the little free agency talk we've been having over the past hour, who are, let's go one guy on offense and one guy on defense out in the free agent market that you think are necessary for the Titans to pursue?
Oh man, necessary? Oh man, that's
for lack of a better term.
Yeah, because I would look at, because if they choose to part ways with whether it be Calvin Ridley or Pollard, more importantly Pollard, if they choose to part ways with Pollard, then for me it would be Breece Hall. That
I would agree with that.
You would, and you can get him at a price I think that wouldn't the contract wouldn't, it would wear well moving forward, I think. And then from there, they have to find them a cornerback. They do. And there are several cornerbacks out there. Taylor from the Rams.
Yep, that's my
Walker,
guy.
Not Walker. I was about to say Walker. Willen from the Jets. He's familiar with Saleh and that defense. So you can, through free agency, plug a hole on the cornerback side. But again, I'm not paying top dollar for corner, because you just got burned by L'Jarius Sneed. So you got to find, are you going to release Sneed or not? I'm pretty sure if they don't release Sneed, I would be surprised.
I would
just
too.
Based upon his lack of availability and his injuries.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to get anything for him.
Absolutely. So I thought that experiment, it didn't work. So now you got to move on. So you got to replace, and you got some young guys that showed something, but some of them got hurt during the season. So you're going to have to, I think, go out and plug that hole with a veteran guy, not at a high price, but a guy that can come in, play within the defense that you run, and be a good to solid player or solid to good player for your defense. So for me, it would be, if you choose to move away from Pollard, I think you have to replace him with a running back. Yeah. You're not going to draft Jeremiah Love. I wish you would, but you're not. And then if it seems like more than likely you're not going to keep Sneed. So you got some young guys there, but I think you need a veteran guy too.
I think you need a cornerback regardless, because let's say they do keep Sneed, you still have to trot out Marcus Harris and, whoever else is in that. I couldn't even tell you who's in that secondary room. So Alontae Taylor, I think, would be a good addition. He's a Tennessee guy. He's familiar with the area. I think he's a good cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously went to Coffee County High School. So I think he's relatively young. He's 26.
But these are guys you feel their team's going to probably more than likely sign them back. You think?
Maybe so.
Alontae Taylor will get signed back by the Rams.
Yeah, maybe so. Regardless, I think you absolutely have to address corner in free agency. Now, as far as offense is concerned, kind of like you said, D-Base, I think it's dependent on what they decide to do. If they decide to cut Calvin Ridley, then I think you probably should go after a wide receiver. I don't think the offensive line.
I mean the Saints. I'm sorry, I was thinking Rams, but it was the Saints.
Oh, I didn't even. I didn't even acknowledge that.
He was the Saints.
He is with the Saints. Yeah, I think you have to address wide receiver dependent on what happens. I really like Wan'Dale Robinson as a slot option. I think the familiarity with Dayball, I think, is attractive to me. His style of play, and selfishly, it would be fun to have a Kentucky Wildcat on my team for once. That is not named Will Levis. So I do like him. Christian Kirk is interesting to me, but I agree with you, D. Mason, that if they decide to move on from Tony Pollard, which very well could happen, he's on the decline of his career, and we know how that running back market works. It's a cold and unforgiving market. I would love Breece Hall on this team. Now, that is dependent on if he can stay away from injury, because I know that's been a concern of his for his, I guess, his entire career. It was a problem when Saleh was there. But I think, kind of like what I said for Wan'Dale Robinson, the familiarity with Robert Saleh, and I know he coaches the other side of the ball, but he's a head coach now, so there's a relationship there. I think familiarity will play a key factor in that, and I think it would be a good addition for this franchise.
Okay, because I'm thinking of this now. They're going to have to do something with their offensive line. I think they're going to have to, because, I mean, that right side is not quite solidified.
Yeah.
At right guard. With Zeitler, he's I would assume he would be gone. It was on a 1-year deal, so they need to plug that hole.
He might retire.
Yeah, he may choose to retire too. And then you have Skoronski over here who's due a payday pretty soon. So you're going to have to make a decision on your offensive line, and hopefully they don't make the same mistake that they made with Jack Conklin, because Peter is starting to play a lot better. He's developing into one of the better guards in the NFL. So you're going to have to sign him back to a deal. So they're going to have to address both those guard positions. And I know they have guys that played this year at that position while Zeitler was out, but they're still going to have to address it one way or another, either with one of those young guys that they already have on their roster, or going out and getting a not 2-season veteran.
Yeah.
You know, a guy that's maybe 6 years, 7 years. Not a guy you're talking about 10, 12 years now. You don't need a guy like that.
Well, you mentioned Jack Conklin. Believe
I think
on
he's
the
a
market.
free agent too. But Jack he's dealt with so many injuries too.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think the Titans, even with the money that they have, they're not in the business of rolling the dice.
Right.
They can't.
And this is an old man.
Exactly.
He's 32.
He's still a good player, but injuries has been a part of his career.
I'm looking at free agent offensive tackles, but I don't know if you need a right tackle because you have JC. Yeah.
None that you're gonna, and then you give him another year. You give him a year in this Dabo system, and see, because again, this offensive line started to play better the second half of the season.
They did.
So you don't want to completely, overhaul the unit. Yes, you're going to have to, figure out what you're going to do at right guard.
Let's see.
But I think the tackles are in place. You just need them to continue to develop and play well. And your left guard is in place with Peter, but you're going to have to sign him to a new deal.
Would you take a chance? Would you take a chance on Evan Neal from the Giants? That's a guy that's familiar with Brian Daboll.
How many years have he been?
He's relatively, I think he's just finishing his rookie contract. He's 25 years old. So
are they going to sign him back? See,
I would not imagine so. He has not been good for them, but
if he hadn't been good for them, it's like, the only way you bring him in is if Daboll, vouch for him, because he played in that system. But if your team, because offensive lineman, man, if you have some good ones, you got to keep them.
Right.
You have to. And if the Giants are choosing not to, or if they choose not to sign theirs, and he's young, and you would think it's not over money, it's more likely over his lack of development at that position. So no, that's not one of those rolls of a dice that I wanna take part in.
I would agree with you. I think in watching his play with the Giants, and look, I know the Giants are a hapless franchise right now, but so is this one. I think you make a great point in that if he wasn't good there, what makes you think he'll be better here?
Yeah, and listen, people, change of scenery sometimes is good, right? For an individual, but how much does your offensive coordinator, who was his coach, likes him? You know, as a player, not
Yeah,
as a human, but as a player, do he think that bringing him in would it be an immediate upgrade?
Right. And that was kind of the conversation we had with Dan Moore. Obviously, he was the best tackle available on the market, but I mean, the other options weren't super
Yeah,
spectacular.
so good.
It was not a pretty time. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Earlier, we kind of talked about, or I guess throughout the show, we've been kind of talking about the Chicago Bears and their potential move to northern Indiana, which to both of us makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
Kenny, the mailman on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, has a comment on that. Kenny, what's going on?
Hello, good friends. Let me give you a little info on that. This is not a situation where the Bears will move and then another team will move into Chicago. The site they've picked is just 29 minutes from the present stadium. But the sticker is it's 2 miles over the state line, and the people in Illinois are going nuts that their team will be associated with Indiana instead of the state they've always been associated with. But it would be like the Titans moving to Murfreesboro. There's not going to be another team coming here. We are lucky to have a team in the city. Derek can fill you in. There are a lot of teams where you have to get on a bus and ride out of the city almost to nowhere. I think New England is bad about that, to where that's where the stadium is, because in a big city, it's really, really hard to find enough land to have a stadium. But just read about it. This is only 29 minutes away from where they are now. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate the call. Yeah, I guess I didn't take that into consideration, but it's still the sentiment that you want to move Chicago's football team outside of the city of Chicago is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and hopefully they can come to some type of agreement to keep, you know, the Bears there in the city of Chicago. It would, again, as much as I sort of moan about it and I think people will get used to it once, if indeed they do move. There will be some that don't like it. And there will be some that say, okay, you know, I love the team, so I'm going to root for them.
Right.
But make no mistakes, once they put the team back in Chicago, if indeed that does happen, all those fans are going to segue back over to Chicago.
I can't imagine they'll move.
I can't, but I mean, there have been franchises that have moved that, you know, I don't know if people thought Cleveland was really going to move.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And it took them, 10 years to get a franchise back, somewhere around there.
I didn't think the Rams were going to leave
They
St.
didn't
Louis.
think the Rams were going to leave St. Louis. They left St. Louis. Well, they had left before. So,
I mean,
Arizona did.
To this day, I still catch myself saying the St. Louis Rams,
Arizona Cardinals,
the Oakland Raiders, and the San Diego Chargers. I still catch myself saying those three every once in a while.
because those teams have moved, you know, well, the Raiders, they've moved, twice? Through LA, LA to Oakland, back to LA, I think, then Oakland, then Vegas.
They moved 5 times in their existence.
They've been moving a lot, man. They've been just going up and down that coast.
Man. It's all
now they found them a home in Vegas.
It's all these West Coast teams, man. They're just ruining it for everyone.
Yeah. Oh, well, but Chicago, hopefully they get that situated, because
I hope so too.
I mean,
because that's a historic franchise.
Exactly.
And, you know, I don't ever, even if the Lakers were to decide to move, we're going to move to, I don't know, Sacramento, but still call ourselves the Lakers. It still wouldn't make sense to me.
I think the Sacramento Kings would be mad.
Who cares about the Kings? They don't have any.
Man, when have the Kings been relevant, man? It's been a while.
Man,
goodness.
I think
Stojakovic years? I don't know.
That was before me.
Chris Webber?
No,
it might have been
Mike Bibby.
Mike Bibby.
White chocolate.
Exactly, man. When the last time they've been good? I know they were good 2 seasons ago, I think.
And then they blew it up.
Exactly.
Because
they had De'Aaron Fox.
They had Halliburton.
Yeah, they had some good players. And
they blew it up. Yeah. Now it's a bunch of old men that I think you could run circles around.
Not with these knees.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Texter asking how our guy Adam is doing. They're great. Adam and his family just had another baby.
A baby girl.
his number of children has doubled in the past 24 hours. But
Yes.
from what we understand, they're great. Baby's great. Baby's healthy. And we send all our love and our thoughts to the Vingans today and hope that the new edition will visit here sometime. We'll put her on the air. We'll strap the headset to her, and her and D-Mace can have a spirited debate on football.
She'll probably hit me with analytics and mess me all up.
Oh, it's a Vingan baby, so I would assume so.
Exactly.
I would assume so.
Actually,
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I would then walk out the room like, no, can't do it.
Not again. Coming up next year on the program, there was a message that came out in terms of the NCAA basketball tournament yesterday that I am going to rant about because I'm fired up about it. We'll do that coming up next, right here on the program, DVD here on 102.5 The Game. Final hour here on DVD on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you. Willie Donick, Adam Vingan out today. Both off doing parental duties. One, a new parental duty. Another one, an older one. But both equally as important. So I am filling in for you. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game National Studios, home of the $99 yearly BI membership, where the buzz is always about great service. And D-Mace, apparently you and I need to educate people on the difference between Mike Bibby and Jason Williams.
Affectionately known as white chocolate.
White chocolate.
Yes.
We were talking about the Kings earlier, and, I said Jason Williams and Mike Bibby, and I listed Jason Williams as white chocolate instead of using his name. And now the text line is coming after me.
Man.
Jason Williams was white chocolate, not Mike Bibby.
Wow.
I listed them as two different people.
They didn't even let you really.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
like,
they should have just said, "Hey." They shouldn't.
Like,
have on
I know
hard.
they weren't on the team at the same time. They were traded for each other. I think J. Will went to the Grizzlies, and
was.
Am I right?
Mike Bibby
Grizzlies.
was traded to the Kings. So, but they were both on the Sacramento Kings at one point.
So.
Anyways, speaking of basketball, in the world of college basketball, there was a statement that came out yesterday from NCAA President Charlie Baker. They asked him, are you looking to expand the NCAA tournament? Obviously, currently at 68 games, his idea is to expand it to 76 to 78 teams. He said, absolutely, I'm looking to expand the March Madness tournament. To which I and the basketball community respond, why? Why would you want to ruin your product? Why are you making it a cash grab for teams that are probably undeserving of being considered to play in games to get into the tournament? I don't understand what the NCAA's obsession is with expanding all of these playoffs. I could get behind football. Football, I think, was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I think 12 is great. I don't think we need to expand it anymore, although I know they're probably going to go to 16 and then later 24.
Oh, they're going to try.
They're going to try. Basketball is perfect at 68. I'm not even a huge fan of the 4 play-in games, but you know what? I can get behind it. 68 teams across the nation that are competing for a national title is perfect. The fact that you're thinking of going to 80 blows my mind. I just don't understand it.
Wow. 80 teams? Man, it's okay. We complained. We were like, it doesn't need to go, and I'm talking about football.
Yeah.
So walk with me a bit on this one for a quick minute. We said there should be a tournament. Then there was a tournament. Then we said, well, no, there should be only 4 teams, no more. Then the college football said, no, we need more. And we kept on saying, no, it's going to get saturated. They added more, and they're going to add more again, I believe. But what have we done? We've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
They've changed the format. That's what they've done. They've changed who can get in.
Right.
Because you don't want, a team that finished, with 7 wins, but they end up winning their conference.
Yeah.
And they end up getting into the college football playoffs. You don't want to see too many times that happen, or you don't want to see too many times where we saw this year blowouts in the first round.
And I think they've made the changes to prevent that.
Exactly. So they didn't say, well, we're going to take away teams. They said, well, we're just going to make changes and make it a little bit harder so we can really get those teams that we want in. I think with basketball, it will end up being the same thing. But basketball is tricky. Basketball is different. It's tricky for this reason. Because you don't have to be the biggest team.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to have the best player. But if you're shooting well from the outside in that particular tournament,
yeah, you're probably gonna win.
You're more than likely you're gonna win.
Yeah.
If we've seen year after year where teams get hot and they end up winning a game or two because of their outside shooting. That's the difference with basketball and football. That it only take a guy shooting outside well for you to get an upset.
You're talking to
It's going to take a lot in a football game.
You're talking to a Kentucky fan.
Yeah,
about
it's
this.
going
I
to take
see
a
it
lot
every year.
Exactly. So with basketball, I don't, even though you're getting into 80 teams and yeah, they're going to have to start a little bit earlier, hopefully. But then you don't want to start too early.
I think you would have to get rid of the conference tournament.
Yeah, and I don't think they're doing that.
No.
To get rid of it. It's just too much money involved. But to me, I think people will just get used to it. Because even though my team, may have finished whatever, or we're in a lower, division, conference, if we shoot well that night, we can win.
Yeah. I think the fun in it for me is it doesn't really affect the Power 4 teams.
No.
Or the Power 4, like the Big 10 and the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC are probably unaffected by this. What it does, and I think it takes away the fun that we have right now for these lower G5 conferences, like Conference USA or the American. And the way that that's set up is you are probably only guaranteed one bid, and that's whoever wins your conference tournament. That's why we get these Cinderella stories of St. Peter's or Oakland or who was it that beat Florida Gulf Coast that had the Dunk City team. That was fantastic to watch. Peak moment in my childhood. Anyways, I think if you expand it, you're opening the door for, we'll let 3 or 4 of them in. They can play in a play-in game and, we'll make this last a little bit longer than it should. I also think it just opens the door for more expansion down the line. That's kind of what I feel with football is, okay, you expanded from 4 to 12. Great. Guess what they're going to do in a couple of years? Expand to 16. And then after that, probably 24 and 36. So everyone can play.
Hopefully it never gets to 136 where everybody just
hopefully
gets in.
That would be a whole separate season.
Yeah, it diminishes the regular season.
We're going to play an 82-game college football playoff.
But I look at back, and what do we like most about March Madness? The stories.
Some people would say the gambling.
The gambling, yeah, a lot of people love that. But I'm like, the stories is what really sort of brings us in and draw us in.
Right.
You will have more stories to lean on. You will have more opportunities for, that Cinderella team. Because that's what March Madness is built on a frame of anybody can win. Your one shiny moment. Anybody can win this tournament.
Which is a great song.
Exactly. All you have to do is shoot well. You got to play defense, but any team can win this tournament. I know some teams, the odds are a lot greater than others.
Yeah.
But it's framed, anybody can win it. Anybody can have their shining moment. Anybody that's in March Madness can have their shining moment. I think it would just feed into that.
Yeah.
Because again, college basketball is different from football.
It is.
From the sense of, if I'm Oakland should have never been competing. But you know what they did? They shot well from the outside.
Shao Golke.
Exactly.
Don't even
that dude was about 28 years old.
26 and a half.
But he shot well from outside. And what happened? The other team, Kentucky, tightens up. And all of a sudden, now you got you a Cinderella story that has the possibility of forming.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that.
I didn't that year.
I don't love it if they beat my team.
Yeah.
Everybody, we got beat by, and MTSU was really, they were really good that year. They were good. But we got upset by MTSU.
As a 2 seed.
As a 2 seed. So March Madness is telling you, man, we want the stories.
Yeah.
We want the Cinderella stories.
They want the Purdue's
exactly.
losing to the 16th
That's
seed.
why I worry. That's why I worry if you expand it, you're going to have play-in games. You're going to have these teams that are capable of doing so. They're going to have to play 3 or 4 games before they get into the real tournament. Hell, if you play 3 or 4 games before you got to play number 1 in the nation as a 16th seed, your odds aren't very good anyway because you're playing the best team in the nation. But if you play 2 to 3 games before you get there, you're going to be tired, and I feel like that puts them at a disadvantage. And maybe that's part of it because buys come into play, and that's some of the fun with the college football playoff is, what have we seen? Only one team with a bye in the 2 years that we've had it has won. So maybe there's some antics and some fun that gets involved in that. But I have always had a fear of change in everything, in sports, in my life. I am an anxiety-riddled person. So I'm just worried that this is going to come to fruition. And maybe you're right, D-Mace. Maybe we'll all just get used to it and they'll run with that. And
But look, just think about this. And I know that because you talk about Cinderella stories, we talk about that one shiny moment, and I'm sort of looking through these things. George Mason, 2006, they defeated Michigan State, North Carolina, Wichita State, UConn, and then they end up losing in the Final Four to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
That was, they got an opportunity to put themselves in a position where they could potentially play for a national championship, or whether it's Davidson in 2008 when they defeated Gonzaga, Georgetown, Wisconsin. Gonzaga was 7. Georgetown was a number 2 seed. Wisconsin was a number 3 seed. They ended up losing to Kansas, who was the 1 seed that year. Or VCU, 2011. They beat number 11 USC, number 6 Georgetown, number 3 Purdue, and number 11 Florida State. So
they went to the Final Four that year.
Yeah, you need this is what makes March Madness fun. Ultimately, you want your team to win,
right?
But this is what makes it fun.
But you prey on everyone else's downfall. That's what's
absolutely.
I mean, I fondly remember. Was it UMBC a few years ago? They were the first 16 seed to beat Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
I was hard on the Ramblin'. I think were they the Ramblers? The Retrievers or something like that. They were yellow. I was cheering hard for them because I want to see the Cinderella story.
Yeah, so why not?
I don't know. I just worry that it's not going to be the same.
You see, you just don't want them to beat your team.
Yeah, well, there's more opportunities to do that. Every team's going to beat my team as long as we get that coach in there. I'm just kidding. How do you feel about Go Green, Go White this year?
I feel good about them.
The UMBC beat Virginia, by the way.
Virginia. Did I say Purdue?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Purdue was Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yes.
I keep doing that. Go Green, Go White, headed into the tournament.
Yes. They've had their ups and downs. They got beat last weekend. I forgot who they played, and they ended up losing. Right. But they've been an up and down team. But listen, I never bet against Izzo once March Madness starts. They have a good team. Their point guard is fabulous. They got shooters. Yeah, they have shooters on the outside. They got a big fella in the middle that plays above the rim. They have a bench. So it's, listen, Big Ten is pretty good.
Yeah.
It is. And it's sort of like the SEC where, you're going to beat up one another. And clearly Michigan right now is the best team in the conference. But even Michigan, tough games throughout the year. But I'm confident in my Spartans.
Yeah.
And we just going to see what they're capable of doing once March Madness start. But they got to get through the remainder of the season and then the Big Ten tournament. So they got a long ways to go. You
guys have one of the most fun players in the nation named Cohen Carr. And I swear, every time I see a highlight of this kid,
he plays above the rim, man.
It's just him throwing it down.
He plays above the rim.
Have you ever seen that movie, Above the Rim?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
615-737-1025. We'll keep it going. On the other side here on DVD, Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you on 1025 The Game.
Mm-hmm. Hey, this is Derek Mason. If you injured yourself in a motorcycle accident, go to lawtigers.com for your free case evaluation. Even if your accident was months ago, you have nothing to lose by calling Law Tigers. Insurance companies want to pay out as little as possible, or frankly, nothing at all. But Law Tigers fights to get you the compensation you deserve and doesn't get paid until your case has been settled. They understand how much your bike is worth to you, so they will help you get it all repaired or better yet, replaced. So call 1-800-LAW Tigers or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is powered by Freeman and Fuson, and you can find them in Nashville, located at 2126 21st Ave South. And don't forget, go to predatorsbike.com to enter to win the custom Nashville Predator Indian motorcycle signed by the entire team, courtesy of Law Tigers and Music City Indian. That's Law Tigers, Tennessee's motorcycle lawyers.
Teammates Ving and Donick here on 1025 The Game. Vingen and Donick out today, being parents, as they should be. So Connor Newt in with you today with Derek Mason and David Janes. And let's break down some Olympic curling here. I'm just kidding. We're not. We're not.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah,
I
I know.
love curling.
I'm sorry. I'm sure everyone was just on the edge of their seats as I said that. But no, I do want to talk about this before we get to take it to the bank in the next segment. The NCAA and college athletics have fully approved the addition of sponsorship jersey patches.
For schools, or like individual players can put them on their jersey?
For schools.
Okay.
So the narrative of the NFL and college athletics being synonymous with one another is getting closer and closer. I think LSU was the first team to do it. I'd have to look up who they're sponsored by. Let's see here. But they initiated jersey patches on the right side of their uniform. They are sponsored by, please hold,
Woodside Energy.
Woodside Energy. There you go. On the right side of their uniform, it'll be across all athletics. I would imagine that the majority of big schools like that will probably follow suit. So that means, we could see Arkansas with Walmart patches on there. Or
okay, here's a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Who was the first NBA team to put a sponsored patch on their jersey?
Oh, okay.
hint it happened within the last 10
Yeah,
years.
it just started happening. I feel like it's going to be a more historical franchise.
Would it be the Lakers?
No, I don't think it's the Lakers. I'm going to go with, actually, I think I know who this is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic.
Is it the Bucks?
The Philadelphia 76ers were the first
it was
NBA team to announce a jersey sponsor patch, partnering with StubHub in a deal announced on May 16th, 2016.
That's right. I was thinking Orlando because they have Disney.
Oh, okay.
And I just remember seeing that. But it's obviously made its way over to college athletics. Do you think, D-Mace, this is a good thing for college athletics? Or
listen, they need all the money. Well, I say they need all the money.
They want
they got a bunch of money. But listen, this is just a part of doing business. This is how the landscape. How do we get extra revenue into our program? Well, it's sort of like it's sort of like putting your name on a building. Mm-hmm. Now you get to put your company name on the jersey. And that warrants a pretty penny to do that. So, and listen, I'm not surprised that, college teams are leaning toward this way. They are trying to find any way to generate revenue.
Yeah.
If they're not already generating enough already. If they ain't generating enough already, they always want to generate more. So how do you do that outside of slapping a logo on a building and it's hard. I don't think they do it. I think usually arenas now in college are named after like someone that went there or a player, a coach, and they may be named after a business or something, but
some of them are.
Like
Louisville plays in the KFC Yum Center.
Oh, wow. KFC Yum Center. I didn't know KFC was yummy. But
that's a good point.
But now it's not just putting it on the buildings or on the scoreboard. Now we're going to have it on our jerseys too. And I think we talked about this years ago when I first started doing the show here some years ago. And I guess it was right around 2016 where, we were, is this going to be the norm? Like, you see, not only on the buildings, but not only in commercials, but now you're seeing them throughout arenas. Yeah. You see it in basketball. They're not just on jerseys. When you're looking at TVs, there are holograms, that are there for you to see on television. It was only a matter of time before the college game implemented that.
Right.
Because again, I may not have enough money to put my name on that building out that you play in, but I got enough money to put it on your jersey. Mm-hmm. If indeed, the one that's, putting it on your building ain't putting it on your jersey too. But if you say, well, you can have the building, we want somebody else to put in some money for the jersey. Well, the names are going to be, this is their way of getting, sort of that push of eyes on their product.
Yeah.
With a patch on their jersey.
I actually don't think this is a bad thing for sports because
too many is bad.
Too many.
One jersey.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see a full sleeve of just sponsors, but I kind of liken it to the way the NBA has done it, where they just have the one on their chest, and that's probably good. I think this is going to be similar to what you said last segment about the tournament expanding. Mm-hmm. This is going to be something people will look at maybe once and be like, ew, I hate it. And then as time goes on, you just forget about it. Well, you just don't notice it.
Overseas, aren't a lot of their jerseys littered with just sponsorships?
Yes.
In soccer, actually, the sponsor is bigger than the actual name.
Oh, wow.
I believe the WNBA used to be that way.
Yes.
I remember that, actually.
Okay.
So I don't think this is anything super, pressing. Oh, my God, it's destroying the sport. No, I think it was bound to happen. You've already, like you mentioned, D-Mace, you've seen these sponsorships on basketball courts or on football fields, or some of them are just holographic projections put on TV, kind of like how the Predators do. That ice is pretty clean, but they put graphics up on the ice and on the board surrounding the ice. So I don't think this is a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing, especially if it helps NIL revenue for some of these schools.
I think I look at it as just like a blank slate or a parcel of land. You want to try to use up as much as that land as you possibly can, whether it's putting this in, well, I could put that over there. Well, I can do this. I can make this bigger.
Right.
That's how these jerseys are. It's like, or these universities are. Okay, we slap the name on your building. We slap the name over here. Where's somewhere else we can get some money from? Oh, the jerseys.
Yeah.
Let's slap them on the jerseys. Now, will they also be on the shorts?
I don't believe.
Can they have a different, like somebody have a patch on a jersey, but then somebody has a patch on the shorts?
It's interesting.
A different sponsor.
Yeah. As long as I don't see, a
bunch of them just littered around like a pair of pants.
Like Alabama comes out with just a giant McDonald's wrapped around their torso. As long as I don't see that,
They
fine.
do that in the McDonald game. The
All-American game.
Yeah.
That's different. But as long as I don't see, I don't know, throw Tennessee out there. They've got a giant Zaxby's logo, just like a sash around their jersey. I don't think we'll have a problem.
I'm not sure if that goes well with the orange. What color is Zaxby's? Like red?
They're red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
they're true Americans.
It wouldn't go well with the.
That's the other thing. You got to make these
Tennessee orange.
You got to make these match.
Yeah, you have to.
Like I'll use Arkansas for example. They've got a sponsorship with Walmart, and Walmart obviously is blue and yellow. Yeah. Arkansas is red and white. So if I see Arkansas trot out there with a blue Walmart across their chest, I'll be upset.
Yeah,
because it doesn't match.
Yeah, you're right about that. But they may just do that.
But they just
money matches.
According to a texter, 1137, University of Arkansas would probably be sponsored by Ranger Bass Boats, which I have no idea what that is. Yeah. But I'll take your word for it.
Hey, as long as they got the money, because the money all matches.
The money flows.
It matches. It matches to what I'm doing. So, but yeah, I think eventually this is what's going to continue to happen, and they're going to find more creative ways to try to generate revenue. Again, they're generating so much revenue is pathetic, but yet and still enough isn't enough. And hey, it's a growing, I say it like it hadn't been growing, but it's a growing sport from the aspect of money.
I am honestly surprised.
College sports is.
What is semi-surprising to me is that college athletics has done this before. For the money as it is.
Yeah, they're the big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The NFL is. There's nothing bigger than them.
I mean, you've got sponsorships on the field and stuff like that.
They figured our jerseys we don't need
the best they got is Nike.
Exactly.
And that's the jersey supplier they should be on.
But you never know.
You never know. I mean, the Tennessee Titans could be coming out there sponsored by Nissan. You never know.
Yeah. Well, they are. The stadium.
Yeah. Well,
but then you can have it on the stadium's Nissan, then the patches on the shirt is what? I don't know. What's a competitor to Nissan?
Panda Express.
He said Panda Express.
Chick-fil-A.
I just like the ones that are like completely unrelated to the city.
How about Cracker Barrel?
Oh yes.
Like Pilot. The Grizzlies used to be sponsored by FedEx, and now what is it? Is it Vivid Seats that sponsored them now?
No, they are it's something,
help us out, people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's
615
used to be the
FedEx. Robin Hood. They're sponsored by Robin Hood right now.
Robin Hood?
Yes.
Oh.
And it's Merry Men?
Yeah. Is it green?
Yes, it's green. Yeah.
Green on a blue and white jersey. What are we doing?
Man, they don't care. Money's green.
Yeah.
They don't care. I don't care if it doesn't match.
Your money's green. Your shots better be going in. You
Absolutely.
better be producing. Texter Brian says the Vols would partner with Whataburger, orange and white.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think they would partner with Pilot because that's what's on their field right now.
Is it?
Yeah, that's already what their stadium's name, or is part of their name is Pilot.
What's the other part?
It's still Neyland.
Oh, still Neyland,
or Food
Pilot.
City, because they're the Food
Food
City Center. Even though I will continue to call it Thompson Bowling Arena till the end of time. It is interesting though. Like you look across all the major sports, the NFL doesn't do it, but now college does. The NBA does. MLB does.
Mhm.
I think the MLS does. Actually, I know the MLS does. Not that they're a major sport, but and hockey does because the Predators wear regions on there. So I think it's the norm. I think it's going to be something that you're just going to have to get used to. And let me tell you, it's pretty easy to forget about it.
As long as it doesn't end up being like soccer.
Yeah.
Or soccer where it's just littered with sponsorships.
Yeah.
We're about to be like NASCAR.
Take away from, the actual jersey. That's why I think the NFL, they may go to one patch, if that, but to go with more than that, because it takes away from the jersey.
Here come the Tennessee Titans in their M&M's jerseys.
Sponsored by Nissan, sponsored by M&M, sponsored by everything.
Whatever.
There's such thing as enough corporate greed. I don't think we've gotten there yet in sports, but I don't think we will get there.
We'll never get there.
Hopefully not.
They'll never get there. They'll never, ever. As long as there's sports and there's players and there's gambling, it's always going to be greed.
When you were playing, were sponsorships common across the NFL?
Outside of the stadiums, are you talking about individual sponsorships for for players?
No, not for players.
For teams?
For teams.
Outside of what the stadium would be or what the practice facility would be.
Yeah.
No, you have your smaller sponsorships. It's like the Titans you got now. They have sponsorships with certain businesses, real estate companies, stuff like that. The people that are willing to pay.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost you a pretty penny.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine player sponsorships were
player sponsorships are common, but they're more so player led.
Yeah.
It's not unless, the NFL is doing something with a particular player, it'll automatically be wrapped up into sort of like the team period.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I am a Under Armour athlete or something like that. I would imagine that. Maybe not as common now as it is.
Oh yeah, because guys had sponsorships in contracts with Under Armour, and Under Armour built this the practice. Their name was on the practice facility, but it didn't. It was one of those things where I can have a sponsorship with you as a player, but you have a sponsorship with the team. That's separate from what you and I have.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Just an interesting little tidbit right there. As sports evolve, so does money. And money will continue to evolve. Speaking of money, coming up next, we'll play our game that we play every Friday. I say we. I don't usually play it, but I will be involved today. Take it to the bank. Coming up next right here on DVD as we wrap things up for the week. We'll do that coming up next. Connor Newt, Derek Mason, David Janes here with you on 102.5 The Game. D Mace, Vingen, and Donick here on 102.5, the game final segment of the week here on this Friday. It's been a fun show. Lots and lots of things we've talked about. Again, if you just missed it, Adam Vingen out today, and we congratulate our man as he is now the father of two, welcoming Elizabeth Vingen into the world. Hopefully, we'll put her on the air, and you and Elizabeth can have a spirited debate about
Adam. We need some pictures, man.
Yeah, we do. Come on,
some pictures, Adam.
I didn't
know you listening.
I didn't know he was expecting until like 2 days ago. So
some pictures of the little one, man.
But
you holding the little one, all proud, daddy like.
Yeah,
that's all we want. That's all we want.
Exactly.
Will got post on Twitter. Just send it to us.
Exactly. We just want it, man. We
be proud.
We family. We family.
I expect an email later tonight. Anyways, in the absence of Adam Vingen and Willie Donick, although I think Willie Donick has sent in his picks, he better have.
He has. Yeah. But first, let's go to last week's. So first off, let's from last week's general questions, it was Vandy versus Texas A&M, and Vandy was favored by 7.5. Mm-hmm. Me, Willie, and D Mace all picked Vandy because we're not bad people like Adam Vingen who just picked Texas A&M. We got that right. And then we also did Florida versus Kentucky, minus 11.5. Mm-hmm. Me and Adam both picked Florida. D Mason and Willie picked your Kentucky Wildcats.
Sorry, guys.
But
we covered.
You covered. That's all that matters.
You covered.
You know the saying: you win or lose. Good teams win. Great teams cover.
Exactly.
Bam.
That's best say. Yeah. All right, I'm going back. So first off, Adam was talking a lot of crap last week about how he got everything right.
He does that.
Well, Adam, this is for you.
Man,
he went over. Last week, Adam. And obviously, I'm sad for him for that. But hey, it's your fault. You're the one.
Adam, you just had a child come in the world.
That's where his mind was.
And you got a goose egg.
But
your child has come into this world with a losing record and take it to the bank.
Man, come on, Adam.
But
good.
But this is take back for picking his Duke Blue Devils to not beat North Carolina.
Exactly.
He picked North Carolina.
You never do that.
You never pick against your team.
I would never pick against the Spartans. I don't care if the Spartans were playing with one player and Michigan had all their players. I'm still picking the Spartans.
But Adam, you have 105 points still. And then let's go to Willie. Willie said, which again, Willie, he said St. John's over Providence. That happened. And then Ohio State to cover 4.5 against Virginia. That did happen. So you got a total of 12 points for a total of 125 points. He's still in the lead.
I didn't do so well.
Well, D-Mace, you did better than, me and Adam, but you only got 4 points because you picked Clemson to cover against Duke. That didn't happen. That was actually close.
Yeah, it was.
It was
really close.
And then you said Tyler Tanner would have 25, 5, and 3, and that didn't happen.
Y'all goaded me into that one.
Oh no, we did. Don't even.
Yeah,
you and Willie. It didn't even matter because he only got 4.
He averages 25 points. So I had to throw some extra in there.
Actually,
you let SEC snob Willie Donick talk.
Yeah, he got me.
Big time SEC snob. You got 4 points for 88 total points.
Dang, I am in the rear view, boy.
But hey, me and you are close.
Okay.
I only got 1 point because I said Vandy would make 10 threes, and they only made 9. Bad beats, man. Bad beats. Hey, I got 1 point. That's all that matters.
We could be there. There you go.
And then I'd say Maxie would win the 3-point contest. He did not.
No.
But I got 1
Kentucky
point.
let you down.
I know.
Sorry.
Listen, it happens.
It's all right.
I got 1 point for a total of 91 total points.
Hey.
But now we're going to go to the general questions. So I have 3 general questions this week just because, I want to be a little different. We'll still get the regular 2 regular picks for us. But so one of the general questions is Vandy versus Tennessee. Vandy is favored by 3.5. Who do you guys got?
Okay. This is the Connor Newt redemption tour here. As last time I played this game, in honor of D-Mace, I went over. And
yes,
I still haven't forgiven myself for that.
Who are you picking for? Adam? Yeah.
Yes. So
yes,
I want his daughter to experience winning under his name, and that's no shot at him. But For Adam, I will take the home team, Vanderbilt. Is this to cover or to win?
It's to cover.
Okay. -3.5. I like that.
Okay.
Give me Vanderbilt to cover.
Give me Vandy all day, every day.
You know what? Willie did the same thing, and I will as well. So Vandy, we all say Vanderbilt to cover.
Yes.
That means they're probably going to lose. But now we're going to go to, since USA versus Canada, what we all wanted, I want you guys to pick between Canada and US, who's going to win, and then who scores a goal in the gold medal match.
You're trying to figure out which one of us is a patriot and which one of us is a traitor.
I'm picking Canada. No.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to win too. No, I'm picking the US. And can I pick two people I think may have goals?
No, it's got to be one.
Dang it, just one.
Flip a coin.
No, I'm saying they both will have a goal in the game.
No, that could be for your later picks.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. So I am picking. I'm going with Jack Hughes.
There you
I
go.
love that.
Willie said U.S. and Austin Matthews.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
Now,
pick,
Connor?
too. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but I have to be a patriot here. Give me Team USA to win the gold medal. I will take a bit of an under-the-radar player to scored a goal today. Give me Tage Thompson.
Okay.
On the board for Team USA.
I as well am a Patriot, so I will pick the USA, but I'll pick Matthew Tkachuk.
I love that.
I thought about Matthew Tkachuk.
Tkachuk's probably my favorite player on this roster.
He's so good.
Just the way he's so passionate about this country, and I love it.
All right, now, D-Mace, let's start with you for your general picks.
All right, for my general pick, I am Miles is back, right? He's playing, right?
Yes, yeah. No. Yes, Duke Miles is playing. Yes.
Duke Miles is
Sounds
playing.
like it, yeah.
He's playing. Okay. Duke Miles, and I guess if he doesn't play, I'm gonna lose anyway. But Duke Miles plays, and he at least 50. He had 15 points.
I like that. I'll take
points.
that. 15 points. All right.
Okay, that's my first one. And my second one, I'm gonna go back to hockey. I picked Jack Hughes would get a goal. I'm picking Quinn Hughes would get one as well. Damn.
The Hughes brothers getting huge goals for USA.
That's what he wanted.
Absolutely.
All right. In honor of me filling in for Adam Vingen today, it would be an absolute mistake if I didn't go to his Duke Blue Devils this weekend. Top 3 matchup against Michigan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In a neutral site game in New York City. Michigan favored by 2.5. Give me Duke to win outright.
Outright? Okay.
Outright.
That's going to be a good game.
I cannot wait for that game. 5:30 on ESPN. Top 3 matchup. I mean, it doesn't get better than this in college basketball.
I wonder how they're going to cover Boozer. Are they going to bring their big man out to
It'll
cover
be
Boozer
on Lindenborg.
Yeah, but Lindenborg, he doesn't play like I think he should play, being that big.
Right. He's kind of like a.
I'm not gonna call him soft because I don't think he's soft. He's a little finesse.
He reminds me of Kevin Durant in some way. That he is the big man. He's capable of knocking down the threes and scoring, but when it comes to defense,
he's not giving you like big man energy in there like that you need.
Right.
So how would that matchup be between he and Boozer?
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting.
That's interesting to see. I'm also going to go with my second pick over to college baseball, which is underway. 2 top teams in the nation playing this week. Tennessee playing UCLA, which should be a good one. I will take a combined 10 runs between the 2 teams.
Okay.
I like those 2 picks. Now, Willie, he said Belmont over 10.5 made threes versus Indiana State.
Okay.
Love that.
And then Purdue minus 11.5 tonight versus Indiana.
Okay. How many 3-pointers are they averaging? Do you know?
I do not know, but he did say 10.5. So
I can find this.
Man, Willie.
He can be a little sneaky sometimes.
Yeah. There's no degree of difficulty here. I'm sure there's not. I'm sure they average about 10.
They probably average about 9.5, 10.
Let's see here. Please hold.
All right, we are holding D-Mace. You know,
Yes.
how about like would you still cheer for if Michigan does well? You know,
Yes.
obviously, you know you're a big Michigan State guy.
Uh-huh.
Would it still be good to see Michigan do well because they're the Big Ten, or is it just like you are you are still a Big Ten guy, but would you still cheer over your Michigan Wolverine like foes over Michigan State or not? Overall,
I will never, and I'm gonna repeat this. I will never cheer on a Wolverine program.
even if it's for the Big Ten.
I don't care if it's for the Big Ten, the national. I don't care. I am not rooting for Michigan to win. That's just me. I'm not one of these SECs. As long as we win the SEC, as long as the SEC win, we're good.
Willie.
No.
Belmont averages 9.5.
Oh, come on, Willie.
He went one up.
Seriously. I can see if you said 12.
But he said 10.5. He said 10.5.
Oh, my goodness. Come on, Willie.
Wow,
The degree of difficulty isn't there.
Listen, he won't get the points if you know. Listen, we'll figure it out. Now
If my math is correct here, which is likely, but I have 9.5 threes per game for Bill.
He did say 10.5.
Okay.
So he went one up.
So
He
took
went
the
one
over.
up.
That's fine.
No. He should have went higher. If he
Well,
was
he's
here,
not
I'd have
here,
gone-
so we can't yell at
Dang
him for
it, I
not.
would have goaded him into going
I
for
know.
12.
We would have done that. We're really good at bullying everyone. This is a bullying show about your picks.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Iowa State over BYU.
Ooh.
Love that.
The 4.5. I
That's a
think
good one.
Iowa State's really good. And
Are
then
you take straight up?
straight up.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to go with this is a big matchup on Saturday. Houston versus Arizona State. 2
Mhm.
versus 4. You know what? I love Houston's head coach, but I can't choose or cheer for Houston, so I'm going to go with Arizona.
I like those. It's a massive weekend for
It
college
really
Yeah,
matches.
college basketball, some good matchups.
Anyways,
Headed with the Michigan and headed up by Michigan and Notre Dame. Duke.
Duke. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. And then of course we got the gold medal game on Sunday,
Absolutely. Sunday morning, 7
7 a.m.
a.m. Central.
Wake up
7 a.m.
early. Be in bed by
Ooh.
6.
Either wake up extra early or just don't go to sleep. Just stay up for the game.
Look, if I
Stay up
hit
all
like,
night.
I'm one of those that I lose track of time at night.
Uh-huh.
If I hit like 1 a.m, I'm just gonna like.
You're like, whatever.
I'm too excited.
I'm gonna take a cat nap and then I'm gonna be ready for the game. But yeah, 7 a.m. Central Time. The game, U.S. versus Canada.
Yes, sir. D-Mace, it's been a pleasure. I'll be with you some next week. I
Yes,
believe.
yes.
Yeah.
Because Adam will be out.
Willie will be with
all
us.
of next week. Willie will be with us. Adam will be enjoying his new addition, Elizabeth.
Congratulations to him once again.
Bingen. So he'll be out holding it, and he deserves to be out. He needs to
Sure.
spend time with his family because this is one of those moments that you take advantage of.
Of course.
So
I mean, it's been a blast today, D-Mace. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate the conversation. And I appreciate you.
well, thank you, Connor. I appreciate you too as well, man.
For Derek Mason, David James, my name is Connor Newt saying so long. We'll see you next week here on DVD on 102.5 The Game.
Be loved, love on your people. Have a safe, blessed, and wonderful weekend. I love you. The team loves you. Even though all the team isn't here, we still love you. We will be back because you hear that music. Don't you forget about us because we will never forget about you. See you at 3 p.m. come Monday where we will be discussing, hopefully, a USA win in the gold medal round.
USA.
Yes. I love you. Peace.